progress. All right. Hello, everybody online. Unfortunately, we don't have the usual microphone setup. William's not with us today, so we're lacking his microphones that we usually have, the little lavaliers. So I'll try and be loud. Hopefully, I'm not blowing your eardrums out right now. Thank you for showing up and coming. Today is our presidential nomination and board director meeting. So yeah, I mean, we're going to see how this goes.
The title is the membership, semi-annual membership meeting.
Thank you, Tony. Semi-annual membership meeting. So thank you, members, for showing up. I think I'm wondering if this is going to be it for the day. If more people trickle in, there's nothing wrong with that.
What's our membership count?
So the quorum determination is based on the last day of February, possibly first day of March. They'll always correct me on that. Membership count. And if we consult the bylaws, I believe we will find that it's 10% is the quorum. We'll have to go back to my files to see the exact count. You can go on. I'll have that in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
3 to 5 minutes.
Let's see. We got 11 in-house, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people online. Oh, one of them's Tony, so scratch that. 4 people online. I don't know who the R is there. Well,
that's a reading thing. It's a translation or transcription.
Oh, okay. So we have three people online. Well, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Again, as always, Thomas. I did have my call sign changed. Now I'm KH6GG. Just to make it a little bit easier. I should have looked it up before. That way it would have made CW a little bit easier. P and the G is not most fun. So think about that if you ever want to get into CW. You're going to get a vanity call sign. Try and key it out first, and then go from there. Kilo Hotel 6, Golf. BG. A little bit easier. It is this. I looked it up afterwards. I looked it up online, and it turned out that one of the gentlemen that created the repeater on Diamond Head, that was his call sign. So I'm going to go ahead and try and make that call sign proud and keep it alive. Hopefully I can put up the repeater at a large peak someday. We'll see how it goes. But that was an interesting one. I didn't even look it up until, because when you go for a vanity call sign, you scribble down 30 variations of a call sign that you'd like, and maybe you'll get one. They gave me the very first one off the list, so I was happy about that. Looked it up. At least it doesn't mean anything dirty, and yeah, it has a history behind it, so that's great. But yeah, introduce yourself to the group.
Okay. Thomas. It's easy. And I'm your extra husband for years now, and care of the schools along with other people. Right up on the screen there myself. So this gives anybody I don't think this is one of our mentors. So that's what we call it at this point. So yeah, onward, upward.
Yep. Right on. Les, you want to introduce yourself to the...
No, not really. I'll get over here by the microphone.
There we go.
Les Hittner. And Celeste, as I tell my wife, that's Celeste with one S. If he likes to think of it as 2 S's, 4. And I think that's bad. So my call sign is K0. And I'm currently going to be stepping down off the board maybe. But I'm currently the chair of the public activities, public communications committee. and, have been not doing the best job. I've reported to the board today and made some predictions to get it, and felt involved in more public service. Starting with the kilo, what do you call those long runs?
Marathon?
Marathon, kilo marathon. So we'll try to get back involved in the kilo marathon. We should be involved in 3 years.
Hey, I'm Bob. And Paul, present time is AH6J, an extra, first license 1957. And I've been pretty much everything in the club. In fact, started the club. Come over here and we started the Hilo branch of the Emergency Amateur Radio Club. And the section manager at the time came and visited us and said, "Why don't you form your own club?" So we did. Wanted to include everybody, so the Big Island Amateur Radio Club. The clubs before was the Hilo Amateur Radio Club and a few others, and we wanted to be inclusive. Well, we did, and we formed the club. Now, the Big Island Amateur Radio Club, other clubs have finally separated like they should, and I've been involved in different aspects of amateur radio. One of them, Peter of Diamond Head, was started by Doc Lamb, one of the pioneers of the repeater system. He got a donation from the fire department and got some equipment, and he put a repeater up on the backside of the diamond head. It was 6 meters. And we found out fairly quickly that a 500-watt heater at the diamond head on 6 meters had a little bit of television. So on channel 2. Actually, it went all the way out to plant. And so that lasted a few months, and we decided that perhaps we should get into 6 meters and go to 2 meters. So that was the very, very beginning of the repeater system in the state of Hawaii. Well, later on, the other big jump was when we put the link repeater up on Haleakala. And then later on, after I moved jobs several times, I ended up on Big Island and put the other end of the link on Mauna Loa. There's a lot of stories in that's the what would you call it? Just top layer.
For more info on that original repeater, I actually, when Googling my call sign there, it popped up in a PDF. So you can actually read an original news story that was published by the ARRL back in the day when you were up there. And you were mentioned in that newsletter as well. So if you do a rudimentary search on Kilo Hotel 6 Golf or stuff to pop up. Any points in history, this man has like influenced and built things. Yeah, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining. Yeah.
I just wanted to, I skipped Joe. I named all the programs for the outreach team.
Oh yeah, Joe.
I'm pretty sure I skipped Joe. Joe and Fred are both on the screen. So
A handy reminder there. Yeah.
thank you guys.
Thank you, Joe and Fred, for always being there on the repeater. Next up. Come on up. Class.
I don't need to.
Go ahead and just stand up. All right.
Yeah. My name is Luke. Yeah. WH6GRW. I've been licensed for about 3 years. I've had an extra for about 2 years. And yeah, if you do a Google search on my call sign, you won't find anything. So that might change, but slowly. And Tony will have to verify I'm an active member right now. I'm not sure if my user up to date. We'll figure that out by then. Yep. Before I cast the vote, I gotta make sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I sent some money in it 2 weeks ago, but I don't know if it's up to date. So
Nope. Yeah, what was your call sign again?
W6GRW.
I'm pretty sure you are. Let's double check.
Yeah, I'm real quick. Okay. Maybe. I'll wait for the.
Yeah.
I'll cast a provisional ballot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they count. Yeah. All right, Mark, walk around.
Yeah, man. I help out here at some things. And my main project has been getting site hospitals, connect with radios, the Honopod, medical, and I've got a couple more antennas put up at Honopod, another one down in Peru, and then that will get it done for now. Radio. And Barry, you probably only seen me a couple of times. I think I'm a member. Check
What's your call sign?
WH6 Golf Uniform Zulu.
Yeah,
And I'm a general. I've been encouraged by my son and Mark to become a member and also a ham operator. So I've only been doing it for a couple of years. But thanks for being here. Good to be here.
All right. 200.
Well, I just, here,
Gary, W6. Yes. It's my ham radio birthday this month. I just renewed my 10 years. I got another 10 years left. Through that process. A little painful. Amateur expert. Spend most of my time on 40 meters. However, 20 minutes away from that. Something like that. I think a year ago for 20 a little bit. This past year, working on a lot of digital projects. And recently we've gotten that 900 megahertz. So looking forward to expand that in the upcoming year and really put investment. So, yeah. Thank you for doing that too. Considering we have the bandwidth, we have the space right now, we better use it to try and sell it off. So, yeah, thanks everybody for utilizing that 900 megahertz section. You can always do it over there too. Yeah.
My name is Jeremy, age 7CN, first license in 97, joined by ARC in 97. And I'm a gentleman.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not as well versed in these type of meetings, but let's go ahead and. Or Tony, do you want to?
No, go ahead and go online.
Let's have our online folks speak up and introduce yourselves. Let's go from left to right here. Lee, would you unmute and introduce yourself to the group?
Hi, I'm Lee Critchlow in Mountain View, WH6LC, and I'm really having trouble understanding what's being said, so just alert that. And Joe and I'll get together afterward and compare notes and, to write up the results for the handgram. Back to you.
Thank you, Lee. Yeah, I'll try and speak up, and if anything is definitely noteworthy, hopefully it gets transcribed on via Google Meet there. Google does a pretty good job of actually having on-screen live, not only translation, but the dictation there. Like, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Joe, you want to unmute and introduce?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Joe, call sign W86JOE. I'm an amateur extra, the secretary of the club, and the chairperson of the Operating Activities Committee. Speaking of which, for 2025, I'm looking for suggestions from the membership as to what operating activities they'd like to see happen, and my email on QRZ is good. That's all I got.
Okay, and again, just for everybody, a little. He's looking for suggestions for any planned activity, anything you want to see. If you want to go play in the park with weather balloons, that's something I send towards him. But if you have anything you want to do, like bring it up, send it over to Joe or myself. And that way, we get the ball rolling with making a program of it, or just have a day in the field. Just put it out there. Anything you can think of. Now let's go ahead and move on to Fred. Hello, Fred.
Hello, I'm Fred Fisher, WH6HAA. I've only been into amateur radio for about 6 months now, but I enjoy learning every time I'm on. So this is a good adventure. And first time I've done it through Zoom or whatever the process is here.
Oh, you're doing great. Right on. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Well, I know that most of this is supposed to be about the membership meeting. I'm kind of lost since William's not here. I don't even know the actual process of which this goes considered. I was elected and I was attending via Zoom when we were still using Zoom. So just like Tony on that end, just in case, make sure the process is followed through there. I did want to bring up the fact that classes are being offered. Well, if we have enough people in group interest to do a CW again, dying art of Morse code. But the fact that you can use a 5-watt radio and get the output of a 50-watt radio just by switching over to CW instead of doing voice, that's very intriguing to me. Myself, I've been cutting some radials and wasting all the wire that I got at Walmart on the teeth and hooking it up with a little Cobra head adapter and making it so I can just throw a radial up into the non-existent trees in my backyard. So I have a little crappy pole. Pardon my French. It's actually called a crappy pole when you go to actually look them up. I didn't bring that in, but I did bring in my 20-meter with that somebody just another member from another club. I went to go help him out. He's basically been an Elmer to me. But that minus the radials, that's an entire setup right there for an antenna. So that might be something worth looking at as far as if you're ever going to go out to a park and you want to do a photo on your own or just emergency communications. That's a 20 megahertz antenna. Just always remember to cut radials because otherwise you won't get anywhere. Last time I tried to use it, I didn't get very far. Somebody may have heard me, just, like I said, 5 watts. My 100-watt amplifier just made it, but it's far heavier than that. And I didn't get the control cable. For a future program, I might bring that in. But, yeah.
Okay, so I misspoke before. The quorum is 20%. The quorum for the annual or semi-annual membership meeting requirement is 20%, but it's as of March 1st. Okay, and the March 1st membership count is 45. So 20% would be 9. We have 9 members here, and I certify that we do. We have a quorum. Our current membership count, by the way, is 76.
Yeah, 14.
14 members. Okay.
Okay. You guys have a little lost.
So if you like, I'll go ahead and cover the director's topic in general. All right, so hopefully I'm close enough to the speaker that people online can hear me as well. The club is run by a board of directors. That board of directors consists of 6 elected people and 1 station trustee for a total of 7 people. The station trustee is assigned by the board, and they serve at the pleasure of the board in perpetuity until they resign or until the board fires them. That station treasurer is William Boheman. So he's not here today, but he is the station treasurer. I'm sorry, trustee. Excuse me. So there are 6 elected board members. And when the club was first reorganized, we staggered them. The idea was that we started out with, I believe it was 4 that had 2-year terms, and 3 and 3, wasn't it, Les? Do you remember? I think it was 3 and 3. So the idea is we did not want the board of directors, all 6 of them, to change at the same time. We wanted to have 3 change 1 year and 3 change the next year. Now that plan has gotten a little bit convoluted because a couple of times we've had someone who has resigned before their term was complete. But where we're at today is we have 3 directors whose term is expired. That would be David Miller, Thomas, and who's the third one? Mark? Joe? I said David Miller. I said Thomas. Who's the third one?
I believe it's me, Joe.
Joe. Okay, thank you, Joe. So those 3 people, their terms are expiring. Les Hittner, the board has accepted his resignation as of the end of the year. Is that correct? So his term is going to be, or he's going to be replaced with a new member, but his term would expire the end of January 20, or the end of 2025, right? So his term is a 1-year term. So that's where we're at, replacing 4 directors. 3 of them will have 2-year terms. 1 of them, Les's position, is a 1-year term. William was actually the chair of the nominations committee, so he's not here, so I'm kind of having to jump in. But it's my understanding that we do have 4 potential replacements for the 4 positions. That would be Don replacing Les Hittner's position, a 1-year term. Sean, can you confirm that you are willing to volunteer for the 1-year term for director position? Is he there? He did not. Okay, well, he confirmed it at the meeting, he was at the board meeting, and he confirmed it at the board meeting. So then our other people who are willing to step up. Well, first of all, is there anybody here that would like to be nominated? You can actually submit your nomination at this time. Is there anybody here that is interested in being nominated by our director?
It's already been nominated by the committee.
I think I need to look that up.
It's in Joe's notes from the secretary report.
Joe, do you have that in your notes up from the secretary report? Who the 3 nominees are for directors?
I'll knock over everything and here it comes. Sorry, guys.
Joe, you're muted.
Yeah, the 3 nominees were David, Thomas, and me. And Sean is for the Les's term.
I'm talking about their replacements. That was it. So they're all, we're sticking. Okay, so say that again, Joe.
Yeah, we're all running.
So Joe, Thomas, and
David.
All right.
So again, if anybody would like the role of president or vice president or education now,
Just to clarify here, though, we are not selecting president or vice president. This has nothing to do with that. we are selecting director positions, the board of director positions for 2025. And so the first meeting in 2025, the board will get together, and from that group, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, the officers, will be assigned by the board. So the club members vote in the directors select the officers in January for year 2025. It changes, or we have the opportunity to change every year. Ideally, it would be very good if we could get some new people to step up to the plate here. So if you're not willing to volunteer today, or if you're willing to be nominated today, we'd be very happy to hear that. Otherwise, please consider nominating yourself or asking someone to nominate you for next year, because we do not want to have the same board year after year. I think there's an expression about that. The same board goes stale, or something like that. The idea is that we want to change up leadership. We want to give everybody the opportunity to participate. We don't want to be incumbents for all time and eternity. So that's about it. I guess we would need a motion to approve the proposed slate of directors, which would be, go ahead.
There being no further nominations, I move to approve the slate as presented by the committee, which would consist of Sean for a 1-year term, David, Thomas, and Joe for a 2-year term.
Do you have a second?
And I'll change my word from approve to cast a unanimous vote. So I'm moving to cast a unanimous vote rather. Okay, so passing motion.
He's got a hand up.
Who has that hand up?
Joe and me.
Okay.
Joe?
Yeah, did somebody second? I didn't hear.
Mark, yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Lee?
And Lee, did you have a question?
Yeah, I couldn't hear either. I heard all the information. I got all that, but I couldn't hear who made the motion and who seconded. So could you tell me that?
Les made the motion, and then Mark seconded.
Got it. Thank you.
So yeah, everybody has a vote. It's all in favor. All right. So yeah, we'll be still marked as directors.
Did you see that? Did everybody on?
Oh. I did not. Sorry, I'm catching a glare here too, but okay, I'm seeing 2 hands up. Lee, how do you feel? I don't see your hand. Okay, there we go. Yeah. All right. So yeah, unanimous. All right. I don't know where to go from there, but yeah, I mean, it's been the shortest meeting ever.
We could, I have an important announcement. If the president agrees, I suggest that we take a 15-minute break, because we have, most important announcement here is freshly made guacamole from Bob Snyder and Chips. So let's take a short break from there, have some guacamole and chips. And thank you for participating in the election. Glad we got that taken care of.
I can understand. And then, Joe, did you raise your hand again there?
Yeah, I want to find out, don't we have to ask the membership if they have anything they want to direct us to do this year?
That's correct. It's the second half of the meeting is the portion where the membership at large can make any motions and any recommendations to the board. And last year, the motion that was made was the establishment of an internet gateway set up that would allow members, specifically members who might be off island or in the hospital or can't get to their radio, to have access to our Kulani phone, our repeater system, through a patch, an internet patch. And so that motion was made last year, and I'm happy to say it's now implemented and working. We have a ability through your phone or through your computer, through software like the IAX RPT client. No, it's not an Echolink. It's actually a private All-Star node. And basically, we implemented that recommendation. So, but it's for club members only. Question?
Somewhere.
An explanation of what?
How to get on this.
So, what do you say, Gary?
Yes.
If the first put that would be in the impact.
Okay, so from my understanding of last year I had made a motion. Barbara was in the hospital. Jim was in and out of the hospital too. I wanted to see members still stay on the morning repeaters and stay connected with the local, vacation or not in a position where they could actually get it right. Those past years wanting to challenging radio coverage. Thought this would be a great bridge. The club adopted that motion, moved forward with it. William took that project on. He is hosting the link currently at his house, which creates in some problems. Hopefully that will get up to a repeater site down the road and we'll clear up that signal. To get into the system, William has to, if you're going to get in, right now it's only testing. Get a set of credentials from William if you're coming in via a phone app. The repeater phone app is an app on iPhone devices. We'll let you join right into the repeater. And then there is a node number. And again, William will have to put you on the approved node list. If you have a little hotspot, that node into the club node. That's one project. Connected to the Kulani voice side. Another project Swan had spun up was All-Star in the Cloud, kind of creating a meetings place for hotspots. Don't think those two projects are separate projects, but using the same technology. The only difference, one is completely cloud hosted, the other one is backdoor into the Kulani repeater. Same technology that's being used as a backdoor into the Kulani repeater system will be used to link the island repeaters together down the road. Once we get the microwave backhaul in place, all the repeater sites, it will link that their repeater to the Kulani repeater. It's got no place to go. Right now, William is the access point, and he would handle any incoming connection requests. So, not linked to on there. That's William would be the ideal location to do that. Jim has been dropping in occasionally in Connecticut, so it has been proved that that's working to improve the concept.
So there are two ways to do that. If you already are someone on the All-Star system, meaning you're a sysop on All-Star, you have your own All-Star node, you can connect your node directly into the BIOC node. So that's method one. Method two is an app on your phone or on your computer. So if you're on the computer, typically that's an app called IAX RPT. What are the phone apps?
I'm looking at one. If you actually go to All-Star Link on the online, type that in. There should be at least some of the apps that are supported linked there.
allstarlink.org. I believe there's Zoiper is one of them.
Then there's the iPhone app specifically named
The iPhone app with your phone would be
Repeater.
connect automatically. It does the authentication in the cloud. And it will connect with you automatically. Any Android-based IAX, Swiffer, William has
DB Switch.
particular line of code for you.
Joe just mentioned DB Switch is the other application. communication. Now, Gary, William actually got the membership list from me, and I showed him the site where he linked to my live membership list, and he had somehow imported that into this repeater setup. Would that be for the app on the phone, or would that be?
I assume that direction. I don't know what his ideas were. Maybe Sean did something similar.
Uh-huh.
But each user would need their own password. So without contacting William and getting your password, you don't know what that would be.
Okay.
Every other app on your phone and an All-Star node requires an individualized password.
Right. So I guess the bottom line is to contact William, or you can send email to me and I'll refer you to William. But if he needs to set you up a password, then
Unless you use the standard one, members, you can't change it to your phone.
okay. But all of this was an example of a motion that was made last year by the membership. So that motion was made, it was seconded, everybody voted, or a majority voted for it, and we implemented it. So hopefully you folks can think about other motions. They might not involve repeaters, maybe they involve club activities. But the new board is always encouraged to give high credibility and priority to motions that are made by members.
Anything you could think of in this brief 15-minute break that we're going to have, please bring it back to the table when we step back up here.
That's the purpose of the membership meeting, is to solicit membership information. Pardon me?
Yeah.
A lot more people were here last month.
Yeah, they were. I guess people are sick of elections.
I'm afraid of being elected.
Well, after he did what he did in my arm, then it got twisted as much as he could. So I understand. Yeah. Go ahead and take a walk, Colby. That sounds awesome. Stick around. Stay with us, folks. We're not going anywhere. We're just taking a short break there.
While everyone is thinking if they have any motions or questions or comments, I can give you a treasurer's report. So one thing that I think a lot of us forget is this club has a very long legacy of repeater installations and other projects. And we've actually accumulated a lot of equipment. Some is deployed, some is not. And the goal of the various committees, we have our own sets of objectives. So we've got the voice repeaters committee, and we've got the digital systems committee that typically are going to deal with the deployment of infrastructure. So we've got at least 2 repeaters that have been gathering dust that we really want to get out, but actually there's more like 8. And it's hard to put a value on these things. There's a lot that are in the field. Of course, there's Kulani and Mikhail. But as these repeaters are not all deployed, and some of them may not be in the best of working conditions, it's hard to put a value on them. And of course, once we test them out and tune the duplexers and get them up online and working and add them into the network, then that really increases the value a great deal. But that's the goal, is to get our repeaters deployed. And we're trying to do it in cooperation with the civil defense, with other clubs, we don't want to interfere with anything that Aries is doing. We're trying to cooperate on all of these. And that is somewhat challenging because there are only a certain number of mountaintops in the islands. And so we are kind of thinking about a number of different projects that we'll report on through the Voice Repeaters Committee and through the Digital Systems Committee. Normally in this meeting, we would have the chair of the Voice Repeaters Committee give a report, but I'll summarize it to say right now that the Kulani Cone and the Pepakale repeaters. We have the linking gear engaged or ready, purchased, and we've been working on it. Can you give us an update on that, Gary, a little bit?
Actually, I'm no longer on that computer.
You're no longer on the voice repeaters committee. Okay, well, I'll give you my firsthand experience then. I heard the link working before, but it's not on all the time. So I know it can function. I know it will be put into place. I'm not sure what the schedule is for getting that thing online all the time. But the technology has been somewhat deployed. It does work. I'm not sure why we're not quite there yet, but we're really close. The other sites that are out there, for example, Ilio High High or the White Pacific Academy has a good location. We've, of course, got our repeater, our UHF location at Mauna Loa right now. There's a beacon station up there as well. But a lot of these other sites, I would have to say that there are a lot of groups claiming that they might want to put sites up, put repeaters on those sites. But those claims have been going on for decades, and they haven't necessarily came to fruition. And so it's kind of whoever gets their act together first and gets their equipment up on the mountain and working, they're going to get the coordination from Rick King out of Oahu, our repeater coordinator. And it's not like we're trying to compete with other clubs, but that's the fact of the matter. You know, I think from his perspective, you know, you got to have a repeater online and working before you can get the coordination. And whoever puts that repeater online and gets it working is likely going to get the frequency coordination out of Oahu. So I guess if you put your money where your mouth is. So how does that relate to funds? We've done pretty well this year. Fortunately, we've been very conservative in how we spend the money, both the dues and the donations for the repeater funds. And if you look in the 2024 budget, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so the people online can see this. Okay, so you should in a second see the financial or the operating statement. This will be as of yesterday. There's a column for 2024 proposed budget. And what that was is at the beginning of the year, me as treasurer and the rest of the board, we took our best guess at what our income and expenses were going to be based on prior year's experience. And we put those numbers on paper and turned it into a budget. So you're looking at our income, and it turns out that we ended up actually receiving more in just about every category. So we thought we'd have about 1826 coming in. We had almost $2,800 so far this year. So we greatly exceeded our expectations in terms of donations and income. Then on the disbursement side, we spent less than we anticipated, believe it or not. So we brought in more in donations and dues, and we spent less. A couple of those things was our insurance on our equipment. The insurance policy that we had, Mercer, they decided to not just cancel our policy, they got out of the whole business of amateur radio club insurance. So they canceled everything. We had to scramble to get a liability policy with the ARRL recommended group. We were able to get our $2 million liability policy put back in place, but currently we have no insurance on our equipment. Okay. And the insurance has historically been a pretty large cost. So we really haven't been spending on equipment this year either. The equipment that's linking the repeaters together now was actually purchased out of last year's budget. So we haven't spent a lot of money on equipment. We our PO box is always a big expense. Spent some money on printing. We spent a little bit more money on online services. So that's our web hosting, our domain BIARC.net. And now we have the Google Workspace for the club. And that's about $10.50 a month, roughly. That allows us for, mainly what we're using it for is the recording and transcription of our meetings. So we can do unlimited online meetings, any of the committees, the executive board, the club, and we can get AI-based transcript and we can record the meetings. So that's what that Google Workspace is for. So in total, we've only spent just over $1,000 so far this year. There's a few miscellaneous expenses that I haven't paid out yet. ICE for our CQ Worldwide contest, but no major expenses outstanding. So where does that leave us? Leaves us with some funds. We got about $1,464 in our PayPal account right now, and just over $4,000 in our bank account.
Which is good, because you never know, like you said, the insurance covers liability, but not our equipment at the moment. So it's good to have the funds to at least be able to replace the equipment that we have on hand, just in case.
And we've got a lot of spare equipment too. Big selection of Motorola UHF repeaters, not deployed yet. And so one of those things, if you're working with either the voice systems or the digital systems committee, maybe you have a location at your house that's good for a repeater.
It's literally the halfway point between, I could see all of Puna and probably beach up in the volcano there. I'll delve into that later, but
So if that's the case, we're working with the Voice Repeaters Committee and the Digital Systems Committee to get some of that infrastructure deployed. So how is this money allocated? These fund balances, we've got the infrastructure fund. Formerly, that used to be called the repeater maintenance fund, or the repeater fund is what we called it. But basically, that now can go for any kind of linking equipment, repeaters, any kind of infrastructure that the club wants to put in. We've got our humanitarian fund. We have not spent any money out of that this year. That would go for anyone who wants to be a club member that maybe they can't afford to, or other needs.
young hams, if you know of any that are interested in ham radio, that can go towards their actual cost, getting their ticket.
So in the past, we had donated an ARRL membership to a station in Micronesia. Yeah, right, Bob? Yeah. Who ran a station at the school there that was really important to the Yapese community. He's a silent P now, so we're not supporting that anymore. So yeah, if you have needs in mind relating to the humanitarian fund, just propose it to the board and we'll get it on the agenda. Then we have $1,000 allocated for emergency reserves, and our general fund right now has $1,046 in it. So that's totals up to about $5,550, and so that's where we're at. We've got lots of equipment still to deploy, and we've got some funds to do so. So we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, a couple of different things. For the humanitarian fund, maybe Roy had an idea the other night and was asking about that fund. He let his license expire in 2020. It fell off in 2024. He has to start over again. Transportation, we've been a hand for decades. It'd be nice to see if we come up with support in an investment session, getting to their transportation, helping get his license back, maybe providing fees, and getting back to the book. Great thing, we had a conversation about those Get us more info, please.
Yeah, send it to any of the board members and we'll get it on the agenda.
Roy, are you listening? Yeah, Roy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't hear whoever was talking in the meeting. They didn't have the microphone, so we couldn't hear anything.
That was Gary, and he was suggesting that for the humanitarian fund, there was a longtime ham that could be helped out by us paying his licensing fee for testing and his testing fee. You know who that might be, or you got a call sign there, Roy?
No, I don't know who that is.
It's a K6IM, KH6IM or
KH6IM, WH6IM. Mark.
Oh, WH6IM. That's Mark Foster.
All right.
now we have a name. It took a minute for my brain to get there, sorry.
All right. See if anyone else has
Anything else that anybody? I think we got most.
Yeah.
I have a question on, does Black still, give free lecture membership?
Students. So adults under 18 and over, you can get a prorated membership for your first time member. If you're a first time member, you can get a prorated. So essentially it's $2.50 a month. So if you're a first time member joining in November, right now, your 2024 dues would be $5. So no, adults do not get a free membership.
Like,
But under 18, youth is the youth membership. It's youth. It's cut off at 18. So if you're 18 or over,
because when I joined up in '97 as a new man, I was in college. I had a free 1 year membership. That's what got me.
the bylaws have changed since then. So yeah, no longer free membership for adults. Adults have to pay, but under 18, you can get the free membership. Anyone else?
John Bush. Wanted to post his conference next
Joe, do you have a copy of the results from that latest DX contest, the worldwide event that we participated in, or maybe even Roy? Do you have anything on that end?
I posted it, but I don't have it on me. I already put it into the results on the website.
Okay, so it is on the website. So
Wait, is that Facebook or was that the listserv? Where exactly, Joe?
No. That was on the CQ Worldwide entry.
on the actual.
The CQ Worldwide website is where you would go for that.
I didn't see him there at the park at our last outing there too. Oh, well, actually, it's we've been there. Okay. Here. So I can make the official one. So, I guess in recent months, looking at other alternatives.
Speaker is here. Mike is here.
So in recent months, we've been looking for additional digital communications and two technologies that we're particularly looking at, one new, one very old. The first one is ATRS. I do want to make a push for the club to make support ATRS digipeters as the repeater sites. If the repeater sites can accommodate the frequency without affecting the voice traffic, that's my. I don't want to lose any of Kalani voice coverage or sense Kalani. I know it might take a dB away doing some of the circulation and antenna combined. Without our expert William here today, I can't get that confirmation. So, but I do want to make the motion to for the club to support that. I believe most of it could be utilized with spare equipment the club has. So I'd like to send that to the Digital Systems Committee and have the
club support a motion in expanding the island's APRS coverage. Someone can summarize that for me.
I'm working on it. Move to expand APRS coverage at repeater sites,
Without affecting
provided that voice communications, or voice propagation is not adversely impacted.
existing voice frequencies and not
Frequencies
basically, I don't want
that are not adversely impacted. For referral to Digital Systems Committee.
I would suggest you take that forward for the Digital Systems Committee off the motion,
Okay,
because that's not what I heard.
yeah, got it.
Or
Okay, so the motion is to expand APRS at repeater sites, provided that coverage of voice frequencies is not adversely impacted.
Question, why aren't repeater sites? Just say that some of them are notoriously poor and difficult to get to, and maintain. Why add more equipment at a place that you need, sign your life away to even get to? I think, like myself, Lou Thomas could put iGates at our location relatively easy. But the repeater sites add a kind of a cone of coverage that's, I believe, could be stable.
It's also about emergency backup power.
We've got an iGate already up on Mount Kea. Halfway up from home, it seems to do just an excellent job.
That's a repeater site.
No, it's not. No, that's a Frank's sheep station. Yeah. And then that does move back, I think, via microwave or Kona. And Frank is, I'd love to have Frank come on board with the project. What more is there? Well, I think getting overlapping the line and cover down the south point side and then down the almost Kona. We could fill in with other iGates that make the bend up to 50 and then really have a good RF coverage.
There's also Ilio High, which is kind of slated as a site that we tentatively acquisition.
So it wouldn't necessarily be iGates, it would be more digital.
But those sites would already have emergency backup power, and they would very likely have some type of internet connectivity,
Which is not, it's to be utilized, but it's not needed.
it's not necessary, but it's a bonus.
That would help with our outreach. Yeah, as far as putting a APRS receiver, an APRS dongle on a runner at the beginning or end of a marathon, and make it so we wouldn't have to have as much on the ground equipment at the tent.
Well, it's already an iGate in Hilo.
Yeah.
And there's actually, there used to be one up in Volcano, still active. Tom ran one for a while. Those later ran one.
As far as I can tell,
They people that at the home that tend to go up and down is where I'm hoping it. Well, more ETP, which is the relay, where they take one APR signal come in, relay it to the next hop. It could become an iGate once the internet and backhaul is done up there. But ideally, short messages that we sent all around the island would be APRS place is my goal. We had a question. That's that.
Actually, we didn't get a second.
Oh, we don't have a second yet?
No.
Second.
all in favor of the expansion of the APRS?
I had a second motion. Get rid of the Okay, second, same computer sites, same concept, except using the SAST technology on the 900 megahertz band. Currently, we don't have any 900 megahertz services as a club. We are doing the repeater making. I believe 900 megahertz band. that's gonna provide the backhaul between repeater sites. So as long as this proposed idea does not interfere with the thinking, Joe raises his hand.
Real fast here.
Yeah.
Joe, what's up, Joe?
Yeah, real quick, who, Les seconded, who made the original motion?
Gary.
EPS.
Okay, did the motion pass? Did we call for that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
This question was, who made the motion? Who seconded, and did it pass? It was Gary, Les, and yes.
I have a question.
Sorry about the interrupting.
No, I'll start over, but did everyone online hear it? I mean, is there any objections to the APRS online?
Only hand up, I saw that it was Joe's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it as that.
Keep talking.
Okay, so the second is the 900 megahertz band, supporting the Meshtastic technology. There's been a small movement, in Kona. I should probably drop the item. Meshtastic is, basically it's 900 megahertz. I want to say text, chat, sensors, a really neat technology. I started playing with it about a month ago, and have been pretty pleased with it. As far as coverage wise, myself and Luke have been able to establish a 10-mile link from Volcano to Mountain View, and a 20-mile link, roughly 30-mile link from Mountain View to out by the shoot station and up to Volcano. So the equipment price, the starter price for these units is relatively low in the course of radio. What I'd like to do is to put repeater sites up at our existing repeater sites. I'd like to have the club explore the feasibility of that, make sure it doesn't interfere with any of the current site technology, make sure it's within the club vision. I think it'd be a really great project. It can support education and outreach. It can support emergency communications and general ham chat, censoring data network. So I know we all love sharing our weather data. A perfect way to do that. So hopefully the motion would be for the club to install 900 megahertz Meshtastic repeaters at our current repeater locations. For the feasibility of these exploring. Yeah, the feasibility. And then what I would hope from that is it would get into the club sometime before June or so. You'll say hopefully get something tested on the place for the purchase if all will go well. I think about that. Yes.
So if I can just add a comment that technology is primarily oriented at non-licensed individuals. So this is a very low barrier, a very affordable technology, and just really popular, especially for hundreds of thousands of these devices online around the world. Most of those are in Europe right now. I think it's really cool technology with this crossover between amateur radio and unlicensed.
Those are part 15. It can fall. I propose. I know. Maybe we go into more feasibility at homework. I'm not sure if the repeater site configuration will support both part 15, part 97. However, with the test we did, we're doing them under part 15, which is a lot lower, and it's been working extremely well. So
You can do it on UHF too. It's a little bit question mark there.
Yeah, I was exploring that. It's filled with noise. And yeah, I wasn't having a good time with 400 megahertz. 900 megahertz is one of the bands right now where it's on the chopping block with FCC. So it's best to use it and show that we're using it. or they try and allocate it to some Bitcoin mining, company that wants to have faster trades. Just putting it out there. And it actually has brought a very lot of people into ham radio because it gets them interested in how does this work. Oh, wait, I can actually utilize a ham license and get more out of it. So it's making it more feasible and showing children, because a lot of kids out here that are using mesh casting, people are using little mesh casting dongles to actually track where their kid is, the park, whatever. It's one of those burgeoning technologies that's still blowing up, but it's going to be helpful.
Characterize that. Is it a repeater? Is it storing forward messaging? What are we talking about?
Multiple modes. One unit can be programmed to be a repeater, to store and forward messages as clients. Like you actually have the ability to program it from afar somewhat, not terribly far. Like we're talking about. I noticed the conversation on Discord there, but one unit can be reprogrammed without a cable from a distance to be a client, repeater, and a few other options there. So once it's in the repeater mode, it's stuck in that mode until the people have plugged into it. So that's something to know. But it's something that is fluid, used in different ways.
Also, the user, like, is like a Denso, like that part is smart people.
We've had the personal, all of the, there's a web interface, there's an app, an iPhone interface.
Primarily, it's talking to my cell phone app, but it has the minimal user interface there, so you can see what the status is. But this is 30. It's power. Yeah, that's power right now. Yeah, you can put a battery in. Yeah.
So I've got some language that we'll see if that fits with what you would think would be the motion.
Okay.
Explore the possibility to install 900 megahertz Meshtastic hex at BIARC repeater sites.
Fantastic. What was the second word? My ears.
Technology.
Yeah, or repeaters. Use the word repeaters.
Repeater technology?
Yeah, they're going to be repeaters.
Okay, repeaters at BIARC sites. So explore the possibility to install 900 megahertz Meshtastic repeaters at BIARC repeater sites. Anything further?
To support emergency communications, education out, general ham communications.
This one doesn't. It's more there.
So okay.
Is this Park 97 or Park 15?
I would like to run it in Part 15 to support the education and outreach side and to make it more open.
I think that should be good.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be 900 megahertz Meshtastic repeaters under Part 15, under FCC
To support
Part
Part
15 at BIARC repeater sites to support IMCOM, education and outreach, and general ham use.
Yes.
You can't put general ham use in.
Well,
Can't support our general ham use
it's
and general use.
an RF.
Park 15. If you're saying Park 15,
You have to put RF.
you can't, at present laws, you can't have both of them at the same time.
You can't. So basically, what I have
Right,
to
they
Part
can't link
15,
together.
You can't run power. You're limited to 1 watt. The unit Luke has their limit. Is that a 3 watt or 4 watt?
This is just a 1 watt.
Okay, so that's a 1 watt unit. They do make the amplifiers can be installed in these, with high gain antennas can be attached, and you can get up to 4 watts. I think the band allows us to go to 10 watts.
But there's more involved in power.
Yes,
Encryption, non-encryption, who can talk to who.
yes.
So if you say Park 15, Park 15,
Which means anybody can talk to anybody.
Anyone can talk to anyone if they have our keys.
yes, and you don't use call signs, you're not part of the amateur radio service.
Okay,
So
so explore the possibility to install 900 megahertz Mestastic repeaters under FCC Part 15 at BIOC repeater sites to support IMCOM, education and outreach, and for general use.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Seconded by who? All in favor?
Got a count on that?
Online.
Online.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Joe had his hand up too. Joe?
Who made the second? Who seconded?
Luke second.
Luke second? Okay. Thank you.
Call for opposed?
Anyone online opposed?
So was it 9 to 1?
Okay, I'd like to hear your feedback.
I think there's two things that concern me.
Okay.
One, we're having all we can do to get our current infrastructure going at these repeater sites. And two, virtually everyone has acknowledged that they're hard sites to get to and they're hard sites to manage. And three, I think if we start any kind of new technology, I don't see why this has to be at a repeater site. Okay, it's built in a way that you don't need to have a repeater 150 miles away. But why waste money going up there where you need to sign your life away to even get there? And where we're already investing a lot of time and energy to do something that project was lasted for 4 years trying to get thinking. I just think that there are better ways to establish repeaters with these kinds of technology, rather than using the wrong sites that we've already used and are wrong. They're not the right places for repeaters on this island. We've always thought that higher is better. Higher is not always better. Sometimes closer is better. Sometimes looking into the hill is better than looking over the edge of the hill.
Is there a way we could add that? Well, I guess maybe.
I'd leave the term off top repeater sites. Let the people that are developing the technology decide the best way to do this, so it's not limited. Right?
Okay, can we restructure that?
We've already voted for it.
Oh,
So make another one.
okay.
Well,
Can I comment? So the motion asks for to explore this. And I think maybe it's worth giving it some thought and amending that language and helps path forward later.
So maybe the Info Systems Committee or computer committees come back. The motion steered us in the wrong direction, and this is what we recommend.
I think that's exploring it is worthwhile. I don't think. I'm open to that. I just, I want to spur.
So the motion passed.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. You want to know what I thought?
I do. Appreciate that. I agree with him.
You know, it's the same concern I expressed about the VRS vote, so it's. I don't think we have miserable repeats.
Okay, thank you. And I hijacked the plug up there. Rick, go ahead.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me, Tony?
I can. I'm going to have to repeat what you say so everybody can hear. So give it to me one sentence at a time if you can.
I'm just kind of picking up the discussion of the repeater sites not being good sites for the technology that they're proposing to disperse out there. Is that correct?
Well, that was Les's opinion. I have a different opinion. I think the Mauna Loa site is an excellent site. Go ahead.
Okay, because I mean, I'm not the techie guy, but from what I seen, I thought they use all this RF mapping stuff to pick out the best spots. So if that's the case, didn't that already prove that the repeater sites have good coverage? I'm confused.
Roy, I think it's not just in coverage. I think it's access. It's getting the prisons then. Yeah, there's a lot of issues there. Problem.
Yeah, but that's not our problem. I mean, that's beyond our control.
So, for example, the people up Hamakua Coast think that Kulani Cone is a terrible site. They also think Mauna Kea is a terrible site. It depends on where you're at.
So what site do they think is a good site then?
There is no good site for from every point of view. Everybody's talking about it from their point of view.
I understand, but the people in Hamakua, did they come up with a suggestion besides just this doesn't work, that doesn't work? So what does work?
With these kind of technologies that they're talking about, you don't need a long range repeater. You just need stations scattered around that are within range of each other, and suddenly you can talk to the whole island, and you don't need to have one central repeater do all the work. So why build?
I understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but that's just it. That's where the discussion goes, and then it ends because people say that, but then so where are proposed sites to put these things up at then?
Roy, Les has valid points there, and I think the only way to get under that is to actually do the RF studies and look at the propagation, see who the club members are that are actually going to be interested. Because there's no sense of covering an area where there's no club members that want to. Yeah, we'd have to check it. So we're just giving the possibility here and referring it to the Digital Systems and Voice Repeater Committee. I think the next steps is for us to do some homework, come back with a type of a budget, come back with a presentation, then have to turn it over to the Digital Systems and Repeaters Committee, and then move forward. A lot of people, their steps might not be in exact order, but we'll forward with something like that. And we're putting one at your house too, so don't strike that. So Roy, it's really going to depend on who wants to get involved as to which sites we're going to be the best sites to support.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say it right now. That's the big problem because everybody has all this input, but then nobody wants to volunteer putting up anything at their locations. So then we're stuck with whatever we have, which is the hard to reach repeater sites. But then you got grumbles, but then no solutions. So if anyone's gonna step up and put things on their property, then we can actually start moving in a direction. Otherwise, this whole conversation just keeps going in circles for years.
Well, that's why we're
here. Actually, I brought up the points that I'd like to offer up the part of my property there as far as adding a repeater. Just fluid right now, but for the Meshtastic stuff as well, I'm probably the high linking point between Puna in general and your area. So we'll see where that leads.
So I think I see 4 people that have already stepped up, Roy. And the discussion on Discord will flesh that out some more.
We're putting one at Roy's house too.
And we're putting one at your house too, Roy.
Yeah.
What house?
And Lee, we're not counting you out either, so don't. Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Actually, Irene said she might give it a try.
Yeah.
That sounds positive.
Yeah.
I ordered her on the net last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee.
I wanted to make a motion when you get a chance to add me to the list.
Go ahead.
Okay, I wrote it down. I'd like to make a motion that the board investigate the cost of acquiring for the club our own microphone system, such as the one we've been borrowing from William. If the cost is acceptable, then the board will authorize purchase of this said equipment to be used at meetings.
That's a wonderful idea. Yeah, all right. You see me with a bad back then over. Yeah, yeah. Last second. Oh, you better. Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that I believe is unanimous. That's a great point. Thank you, Lee. Right on.
Who seconded it? Who seconded it?
I can't hear you.
Who seconded?
Who seconded it?
Oh, Les did.
But it was going to be unanimous.
Thank you, Les.
Yeah.
It was a
Unanimous,
unanimous.
yeah. And then please note that William was speaking about creating a kind of PA system for the club there, so we could have coverage all around the room and be heard in the room, so we don't have to speak as loudly. It's gonna have a hell of a time dealing with my voice, but that's fine.
Hey, Lee, could you do me a favor and read that off again a little bit slower? I'm typing it in. This is Tony. Can you read your
Yes,
motion again?
yes, moved by Lee and seconded by Les. Make a motion that the board investigate the cost of acquiring for our club our own microphone system, such as the one we've been borrowing from William. If the cost is acceptable, the board will purchase said equipment to be used at our meetings.
Okay, if the cost is acceptable, purchase it. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Actually, I mean, for all the club use, that would actually change a lot of things. So that's a very positive one. Thank you again, Lee, for thinking of that. That's gonna be helpful. Does anybody else have anything on their mind? Any motions? Hands up. Well, with that, I suggest that we close this meeting. Say thank you again for coming and participating and being a part of the club. Oh, second question. Oh, question first.
And a question, there, just, I was, what repair equipment,
Oh, there's a rolling list, I believe, that's still being put together.
Yeah, so really, we need to get that from the voice repeaters committee. The challenge is, it's a long list with a lot of equipment. Much of it has been donated and may or may not work. So
just to narrow it down, any 6 meter or 10 meter equipment?
no, we're talking 2 meter and 70 centimeter. And various things like, what was that timing thing that they got to do the high accuracy GPS time clock thing?
They're really nice. However, I thought about hosting one. So much electricity.
Yeah, the Motorola gear takes a lot of power. The Yaesu isn't quite as bad.
And servers, reference clock, they have 4 GPS engines on them. So 4 GPS engines. So in timing a multicast system where they're using, but it also allows you, start. So originally it was suggested that we put them at some of the repeater sites and backhaul that timing signal. People, you already network it to take off as well.
So mainly VHF and UHF repeaters. Motorola, mostly Motorola.
Where is the original public HF radio?
The 991A,
725 Nikon.
wasn't that sold in the auction?
So it was donated.
So what had happened, I think, is you donated it, and I think it got put on the donation paperwork. Troy, can you?
Can you speak to that, Roy?
What is the question? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
What's the question?
The ICOM IC 725 Club Radio.
The ICOM IC 725 Club Radio. Where is it? Or what's the deal with that?
Where did it go? Somebody grabbed it.
That's I heard William was working on.
Yeah, somebody grabbed it because I
The
brought it
last
down.
we heard, William was working on it.
Yes, because it was it needed it needed to get aligned and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, I would say that it's William would have it still. It was not. Sorry about that. He is the source because he did the auction, right? So if he says William has it, William has it. Can you verify that? I think the consensus, Roy, is that William has it.
Yeah, because that radio was donated. I think it was after the auction thing was done or something. But I
The
had
guy
it in
says
the
yes,
garage.
William has it.
Yeah.
We posted inventory list, whether it's the complete inventory list or not a complete inventory list, for that meetings, have a printout on the table, one copy, maybe.
So I have tried to achieve that goal, and I have found myself stymied by the repeater committee because, see, I don't have that equipment. I don't have access to that equipment.
Probably stacked up in boxes and way back.
Yeah,
And I don't expect him to spend 10 hours writing down serial numbers, but I mean, anything we do have that, and this might not be a complete list, but maybe there's six VHF portable radios that we could use for backup.
I have one VHF repeater full, all ready to go at my house that was donated by W86EMN. All the rest William has.
And I know we were supposed to put in a repeater for somebody at down Market Land that Jim had left, that they called the repeaters.
That's David, and that was the WinLink station.
There's a voice repeater that was in the right place that is sitting down in the shipping container somewhere at Market Land. The Market Land repeater, 4-4.
A UHF repeater.
It was at Roy's house.
So yeah, it went from it was slated for the Orchid Land 13, and then Roy, is that UHF repeater still at your house?
Negative. It went down with Gary and Jim to the Orchid Land 13.
Jim took it over to the container down in Oregon. We have equipment sitting out there. That we
Okay.
don't know the serial number.
Yeah, so we have a UHF repeater at Orchid Land.
Yeah, we gotta kind of
Yeah.
rate that.
And the rest is with William.
Okay. The UHF, VHF repeaters, the club hands, are those all analog or are they Yaesu Fusion or D-Star?
The majority are going to be Motorola. There is one, those are all analog. The Motorola, UHF, and VHF repeaters are all analog. The Yaesu, I am aware of one DR2X, and I believe there are 3 DR1X. But then I heard conversation that one of those 1Xs was upgraded, so there might actually be 2. Again, it's the voice repeater committee that maintains this stuff. And if William was here, I'm sure he could tell us.
Sign a contract with Yaesu and send it off. If there's not a chip between them, you make it a two.
Yeah, so I only know of one Yaesu DR2X.
I purchased that as the club president in 2016. And then the other 3 was actually 4. They traded one of the one X is in. Paul Aguamada had walked in with Bill Hanson's president. So you're going back a little over a decade. They never got the quote. They sat the 3. Your 2X was gone. You got the quote. The 3 DR1Xs. Issues with overheating. It could only be turned to 20 watts, and we're not. And 1 of the 2 of them, 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 1 of the 2 One of them did get deployed for a short time up to Picado and then broke. So we might be down to. That's Roy races. That was
Yeah,
Roy.
Yeah, question. Since you guys are talking about the AC repeaters and stuff, the C4FM repeater at the Kulani Cone site. I came in late, so was there any discussion about that one? Because it doesn't seem to be on.
No, I get that. Oh, so you bring some memory here, real fast. The DR2X. Les might have donated one to the club. That's where the second one we might have. There might have been something where Les is donating. And then, Roy, I think the DR2X at Kalani is locked up after that fast storm. So there's no way to reset it unless someone has site work up there. And when we do get this Meshtastic stuff in place, we could do some type of relay so the Meshtastic can actually reset the repeater.
Well, that's the reason why I thought the whole idea with this Meshtastic at the repeater site was actually a good idea, because of the fact that there's no access to these sites. That at least this way you guys can remotely, reset things, right?
Yeah, there's also other options too, where they could monitor temperature. They can monitor the temperature of the repeaters. They can monitor voltage of the repeater sites. But we could backhaul sensor data on as well.
Yep.
And I think all that needs to be considered when we're picking these products.
All right.
So that makes two then, two DR2X.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's donate it one. I think it was the cavity. I don't know, didn't Jim donate a duplexer at the repeater too? He's got a fire station.
Jim EMN. Yeah, that's the one. It's a VHF. It's at my house, cans and everything.
Yeah, nice, that's nice.
And anywhere the committee wants to put it, I'll give it to them. Right.
All right. Well, I think that's everything we've already.
Wait, there's someone else. Who is that?
S. Murphy.
Yeah, aloha. This is Siebert Murphy. I am on Oahu. Right now, I'm actually on travel, so I'm not there. But we are working with Eric Hagiwara over at Waiakea High School to get some students involved in radios, HF radios, communications, and kind of the program of the Big Island Amateur Radio Club. We had some emails, I think, with Tony over the past month or so, and Eric's got a great program over at the high school right now. He does a lot of robotics, and his kids are very interested in technology in general. And I'm supporting him. I have a company called GuideStar Engineering in Kapolei on Oahu, and we deal with a lot of work with different agencies, from the Navy to the Air Force, on projects that involve sensors and communications. So we've been talking about getting kids involved in radios. I know when I was in high school, that's something that I got involved in, and so I'm really glad to support Eric over at Waiakea now.
Okay, so you've probably been to our website, biarc.net.
Yes.
The committee chairs for each of the committees, probably the voice repeaters, the digital systems, or if you're wanting to organize, say, a HF contact event, that might be through the operating activities committee. Depends on what kind of activities or collaboration you're proposing. But basically, it's the committee chairs of the various committees that would help organize that with with you folks.
That's great. So one of the things that we'd really like to do is, really like to do is get some of the kids get their license, their ham license, and that way they can not only learn more about the technology, but also how it can be used for safety. Just emergency type safety is a big deal, and I think that's kind of one of the big things that Eric wants to do is make sure that they know that there is other ways of communicating besides just your cell phones. So I don't know if there's a committee. If there's a committee that helps young people get licensed and learn about radio, learn about RF, learn about communications, or what your suggestion is. I'm glad to pass it on.
Okay, can you clarify? You said Eric from Waiakea High School?
Yeah,
His
Eric
last name?
Hagiwara over at Waiakea.
And as Eric and
In Hilo,
I
yeah.
believe Mr. Oliver retired the past couple of years, but they handled the robotics program over there.
Okay, so just one thing to pass along, or so you know, the youth memberships you can get for free. So if you check out the biarc.net website, all the details on that are under the How to Join BIARC link. And so, yeah, there's some options there for youth membership. And that way they could participate in our committees directly. And so that'd be a good way to start, especially if they get their license.
Is there a youth committee now?
No, there is not specifically a youth committee. Our committees are kind of organized under, it's like operating activities, programs, digital systems, voice repeaters, and public service. So there's no specific youth committee. And the main reason for that is we've had no youth.
We do have an education and outreach committee that goes out to the various schools throughout Puna on a regular basis. And it's usually an event, a science night or a parent-teacher night that involves the children and the parents. It's quite effective in engaging with the parents and the teachers about radio and ham radio in particular. And as you mentioned, public safety and those issues. So that's our education and outreach.
So you have, so there's excuse me. So there is an education outreach a program.
Yeah,
and
so that's really the spot that's most appropriate for them.
We've had it written up in the latest Hamgram issues and the last few issues of the Hamgram. And if you want to pursue that, we'll get back to me, David Miller, at through BIARC. I'm the chair of that committee for any of the directors.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you're kind of in the background. So I heard the name David Miller.
Yep.
And who else?
And any of the other directors, they'll be on the masthead for the at the website, at our website, and on the Hamgram as well.
Okay, no, that's great. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so what? I'm not sure when I'll be over to Hilo, but I'll try to do is follow up with Eric when he gets back on island. I know he's also traveling with the kids to Japan, because as you know, they've got a great program there with the robotics, and it might be worth it, for him to bring some of the kids over for an open meeting, or just to get more knowledge, about what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Have him reach out.
We've got his email address. I'll make sure David from our Education and Outreach Committee has got that.
My daughter
Okay.
was in class years ago, so I know who he is.
Right on.
Okay. Yeah,
Right on.
Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us and
Okay.
sharing that.
sure. And you have my email address, smurphy@gsellc.com. And like I said, I really look forward to helping out, and look forward to meeting you guys in person.
All right, thank
Sounds
you.
great. Thank you.
Aloha. We're
Okay.
gonna shut
Aloha.
down now.
I'm sorry we were getting kicked out of the room. We apologize. Yeah, we-
Thanks.
Aloha. Leave.
You're still online.
Thank you, everyone. Aloha.
Yeah, she's raising her hand.
And Tony closed without it.
No, it's on that.
Oh. Me, I'm mute.
I
Go
guess
for it.
Mr. Murphy is gone, I guess, but I wanted to, because the acoustics and the hearing problems today, I wasn't sure that S. Murphy heard David mention that the Hamgrams have had information about it. So if you're going to email him, could you tell him that he can access the Hamgrams? And if he looks at the last few, as David said, there's all sorts of information about the elementary outreach program, and he could get a lot of information from that. That's all. Thank you. Aloha.
Right on. Thank you, Lee.